Hello and welcome to my channel Crafting with me, Indiana Jones, and welcome to another adventurous episode. I don't know if it's adventurous because I pretty much just stay at home and craft, but today's a blustery, rainy day, and so if you are having a blustery, rainy day, that is like the perfect time to craft. Other people might say to clean, but just put those people aside. It's time to craft, people. Let's get started. Welcome to the What Would You Make Challenge, hosted by Connie of Connie's Wood Shops and DIY, Brenda of Rustic and Laced, and my funniest and favorite, Kathy Jo DIYs. They've gotten together to host this wonderful challenge on a monthly basis. So let's see, what would I make today? Let's lift up my workspace so we can work together. And this is part of the reason why I'm working in this room today. You'll hear more about this wonderful product and the sponsor of this video later in the video. So I had some items that were just sitting around the house, not doing anything because they were ugly. Like this little tray. I hastily created this tray with some leftover contact paper and so I'm going to, I don't know if it's contact paper or if it's, I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to see if I can lift it up and refinish it. And I wanted to do some decoupage with some beautiful napkins that I found in my stash. Well, this isn't coming up, so I am going to do the best that I can. Ooh, maybe it's a good idea it's not coming up. I'm seeing like really red paint underneath, so. Oh goodness, okay. I might have to decoupage on top of this paper. Didn't want to do that, but I can see why I think I'm just gonna leave it as is because it is really, really red down there. So I'm gonna see, I'm gonna have to paint this paper. That's the only way I can decoupage on top of it. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna paint it real quick and I'll be right back. So this is the 50-cent Oops paint from Home Depot that I always like to buy and keep in my inventory. And that's Kudu in the background because I'm not allowing her to get up here with paint on my new table. It's not gonna happen. No, it's not gonna happen. So hopefully Luke will hear her and bring her in. So I don't know if I should paint the whole thing. I wasn't planning on painting the whole thing, but I might end up doing that because yeah, it's just beyond. And I tried to lift up this paper and it just, oh goodness. Oh, let's see how this turns out. You'll see very quickly that painting over paper or any other, than the original surface is a big mistake, because you'll see that all this time that I was talking to myself and painting was completely wasted, but maybe it wasn't. Black cats to me are so, no, go over there. Go over there. Go over there. It's nasty paint. Go over there. Go. You're gonna get your tail all white. You're gonna look like Pepe Le Pew, the little cat. Remember? Do you remember that with the little cat? You're gonna end up with a white stripe on your back, and the skunk's gonna want to make out with you. Get over there, kitty cats. I'm telling you. So the bad thing is painting over paper that's already there doesn't work out. But the good thing is it actually loosened up whatever was underneath it so that I could rip it out, because apparently there was another set of decoupage paper underneath the paper that I had decoupaged myself. And I finally got to the original image that was on this tray, which were these funky little cute little owls, but they weren't cute enough for me to want to keep, and besides they were all scratched up and gummed up. So what I did do is use some Goof Off, yeah, there it is, and I put it all over the tray, and I was able to rip off that, it was like red sticker, red paper, whatever it was, and I was able to take off a lot of that glue so I could start from scratch. Now let me share a little bit with you about my sponsor, and the sponsor for this video, Flexispot, reached out to me and offered me this wonderful adjustable desk. Now, I have to tell you, there is a little bit of assembly, but when I tell you it's a little bit, I just had come home from work, which is usually around 7:30, and decided to just go ahead and go for it. It does come in 2 separate boxes, which to me was a little intimidating at first, but when you see how easy it is to put together, you will be surprised. This is basically the top of the desk, and then all I have to do is, well, add 2 cats and make it even more complicated than it needs to be. And all I have to do is add the legs to this, and it is easy as pie. There's just 8 little screws that I have to put in. I just have to connect it to the legs to the desk electrically. And then, of course, all I have to do is plug it in, and it is ready to go. This amazing desk comes in a variety of colors that you can choose from. It does include a desk as well as 2 ports to charge, 2 charging ports, USB ports, and you can customize it. Again, the tabletop and any customization that you'd like, but they are also the lengths or the heights that you want to customize. So if you share this desk with someone else, you can customize it so that you can select exactly which height you want to have it at. And it is just so much fun. And as you can see, little kitty cats can sit on the tabletop, and it doesn't affect them at all because it is such a smooth change from one height to the next. And I can tell you that both of my cats really enjoyed having a little ride on this beautiful desk. But as I said before, you can feel safe about having laptops and computers as well as any other items. And there I'm showing you the customization of the heights. But it is such a smooth transition from one height to the other. It really is a wonderful desk. So thank you once again, Flexispot, for sponsoring this video. Now, continuing my cute little project, I'm going to use Mod Podge, as you saw there. And again, I'm going to use the technique that I like the most, which is putting the Mod Podge on the item, not so much the paper, but on the item. I'm going to decoupage and letting it sit for a little while as it dries. Now, this is a great way to separate the 2 plies. Just use 2 pieces of tape, one in the front and one in the back ply, and you separate the 2 plies so easily. Actually, I used my heat gun just to dry that Mod Podge a little bit more. It's still a little tacky, but it's not gluey, it's not thick, it's not wet, so there's no wrinkles. That's what wrinkles your napkins or your parchment paper. It's the wet glue. Now, using some parchment paper, I'm just using my little iron, and again, they sell these all different prices. You don't have to buy an expensive little iron, but you can find so many of them at ranging from $9 to $30, whatever it is you prefer. And I think it works wonderfully. If you haven't used this technique, try it out and tell me how you feel about it. Now, all I do is to remove the excess. I'm using my little what is this called? A scraper? Yeah, I guess it's a scraper and a little bit of a razor, and that's it. I am done. I think this makes such a huge difference, and it's a beautiful Cottagecore little tray, absolutely perfect for Easter and spring. So I hope you can find something similar to this and revamp it just for spring. This little Dollar Tree tray will go through the same process pretty much, except that I'm using a little bird from IOD's Christmas winter collection, but I will change it to look like spring. So enjoy a little quiet relaxation as I create this cute little tray. Last year, one of my sponsors gave me this beautiful wooden book, and I've used it for different projects already. And as you know, I love to repurpose my items. So I had used this for like a witch's book for Halloween. Now I'm just going to transform it into a beautiful spring woodland cottagecore book. Now I wanted to create those little light up mushrooms that you saw that I used last year, and all I'm using is these little fairy lights, twisting them together to create the stems of my little see-through mushrooms. This is such a fun and easy technique, and it makes such an impact in your home decor. So as you can see, I'm just using those fairy lights, twisting several little lights together, and there you see them all together. Now I've taped them down, so all I have to do is drip the glue down those stems, those twisted stems that I made with the wiring for these fairy lights. It's very, very simple. Just, drip down the hot glue and it'll cover the wires, and just go back. It doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes you have to do 3 layers of the glue to make sure that you cover all the wires. Now to create my little mushroom tops, all I'm doing is dropping some glue into a circle, some hot glue into a circle on my parchment paper, because it will not stick to it. Now please be careful, you don't have kitty cats around that'll step into the glue, or little children, just to be very, very safe. Next, all I'm going to do, once the glues have dried, the mushroom tops and the mushroom stems, I'm going to glue them together, as you see right here. And it just works out so well. If you ever like cottagecore, any kind of foresty type of decor, this little trick just makes such a difference. And now all I'm doing is slipping that little battery pack into my book and moving all that extra wire underneath the styrofoam. And again, this is the styrofoam I literally took out of that desk that I just built from the Flexispot Corporation. Now I had these mushrooms that I showed in a previous video. I was going to use them in a basket, but I decided to use them here. These were leftover Christmas ornaments from Hobby Lobby. I got them at 90% off. I think they came out to like 39 cents each. It was wonderful. And I absolutely love the red top mushrooms. They're still very into, home decor with cottagecore and garden core, or whatever you want to call it. But it's also very French country, and even, a little farmhouse if you think about it. But yes, very, very much, very foresty. So I'm trying to recreate forest ground, I guess. And there's so many things going on. I found these, wooden, sticks and twigs, and these branches. And of course, look at this wonderful wood bark that I saw. And this is all in my front yard. So this is always so much fun to forage in my front yard for these foresty looking items. Of course, I'm using loose moss. There you go. It's a loose moss. And I could have used moss sheets, but I think I like just using the very, very, how can you call it? Organic moss, I guess you call it. And now I'm adding the rest of those lovely little light up mushrooms. And this is going to be such a cute little thing to have on your nightstand, or anywhere you might want to have a little bit of illumination, and you just light it up, and you can have it even as a little night light, as you'll see in just a moment. And I just think they're wonderful and whimsical and perfect for spring. This is what I would call an indie quickie, because I found this in somebody's garbage, or one of my neighbors gave it to me, something like this. And apparently they had ripped out a sign in the middle, so there was that little rip right there, and I was going to decoupage it and change the background. But I love that little wreath. I think it's so perfect for any time of year. And I happen to have this little topiary that I had hanging around in my stash, so I decided to combine the two and create a cute little wall decor or desk decor, whatever you want to call it. So once I just whitewashed the wood a little bit, all I did was add that cute little topiary right to the middle, and it covered that rip. And there you have it, the fastest, quickest way to style something for spring. So I have to tell you, I've been very, very fortunate in that a friend of mine recommended me to another friend of hers, because she is hosting a birthday party for her mom who's turning 80, and she saw floating teacups on Pinterest and was flabbergasted as to how she was going to have time to make them. Now you know I adore making floating teacups, so I have to make over 30 floating teacups. But then a friend of hers showed her how I make the little nests in some of the teacups, so she wanted additional little bird's nests or little bird branches that I've made in the past. So what I'm doing here is creating a little bird's nest with some moss, some of that brown moss. I'm adding half of a styrofoam ball so that I can add my little branch in which my little bird is going to be setting upon. It's a very springy themed English, I think it's an English country themed party, which I just thought was absolutely lovely, and I'm actually going to help her set up for the party itself. Now, all I'm doing is using these little plates that she provided, and this is wonderful if you have a plate that you don't want to get rid of, but you only have one of them, or you find something and you love the edging of the plate and you just don't know what to do with the rest of it. This is what I am making for her. I might add some additional embellishments around the edges of that little plate, but all I did was add a branch that I found, again, a wooden branch that I found in my front yard. There's so many little eggs out there, and these are those little Easter eggs that were very brightly colored, and all I did was mute down the colors with a little bit of whitewash. There you can see I added my little bird. I love those little birds. And all I'm adding now are some leaves and some beautiful little roses. And this is a lovely centerpiece for a tea party, for little girls, even for an Easter decoration or for a bridal shower. It's very delicate and very sweet and so perfectly spring. So I hope that you're inspired to create something like this. And again, you might have little roses in your own stash. And the little birds I think I got from Amazon. You can also find them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And just make something very springy and pretty and oh so feminine chic. I love it. And again, all I'm doing to attach my final little nest to the plate, I initially placed it with parchment paper, and of course that didn't hold. But I wanted to make sure that it was balanced correctly before I glued it permanently to the little plate. And there you have it. So, which one was my favorite? Can you guess? Well, why don't you tell me what your favorite is and which one is more like your aesthetic? Anyway, I want to tell you who is part of my aesthetic, and those are my lovely crafty friends that hosted this wonderful collaboration. And that's Connie, Kathy, Joe, and Brenda. Thank you so much for hosting this challenge month to month. So if you're interested, reach out to them so you can join us next time. If this is your first time here, well, come back for more. But how will you know? Oh, subscribe, like, and share, and you'll definitely know when my next adventure will take place. As I always say, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to live the adventure. And I'll see you again very soon. There's many more spring adventures to come. Bye.